Just imagine, a man everyone sees as weak and lazy, but when his real story comes out, it shocks everyone. The story begins with a man named Hutch. He looked like a totally ordinary guy. He lived with his wife, Becca, and their 2 kids. Hutch made ends meet with a simple job at his father-in-law Eddie's company. But his married life wasn't going great, and on top of that, he was constantly overworked. Then one night, everything changed. 2 armed thieves suddenly broke into Hutch's house. Hutch caught them red-handed, but strangely, he let them take the money and leave. No one could understand why. Hutch's son, Blake, jumped in and attacked one of the thieves, but Hutch stopped him and told him to let them go. And just before fleeing, one of the thieves punched Blake hard. That moment hit Hutch deeply, but by the time he reacted, they had already escaped. After that, everyone started calling Hutch a coward, because he knowingly let those thieves go. Even Becca and Blake started to lose respect for him. He couldn't even protect his own family. Word spread quickly through the neighborhood and at his office. People started mocking him. Even Hutch's brother-in-law, Charlie, was disappointed. So he handed Hutch a gun to help him protect his family, just in case something like this ever happened again. Later, Hutch met Eddie because he was thinking about buying Eddie's company, but Eddie didn't like the price Hutch offered him. While dealing with all this, Hutch spoke to his stepbrother Harry over the radio and told him the real reason he let the thieves go. He had realized that they weren't typical criminals. They looked like they were stealing out of desperation. The moment he saw them, Hutch could tell they were a married couple who desperately needed the money. Their guns were empty, there weren't any bullets in them. So instead of fighting them off, he let them take some cash and leave. That evening, Hutch went to visit his father David, who lived in a nursing home. After the visit, he returned home and, from outside, felt a little disappointed as he looked at his wife and kids. Even when he walked in, no one paid much attention to him. They were still upset with him. Then his daughter Sammy told him that she had lost her kitty cat bracelet. Hutch figured the thief might have taken it during the robbery. Without wasting any time, he went back to his father and picked up a gun from him. He started searching for the thieves. He remembered that one of them had a unique tattoo on his hand. So, Hutch took a picture of the tattoo and began visiting tattoo shops around the city, asking if anyone recognized it. Eventually, Hutch found out where the thieves lived. He immediately went to their house, threatened them, and demanded his daughter's bracelet back. But then, all of a sudden, he heard a child crying. That's when he realized their kid was sick, and maybe they had stolen the money just to pay for his treatment. Seeing this, he felt really bad and quietly walked out of the house without saying anything. After that, he got on a bus to head back home. But not long after, a bunch of drunk guys got on the bus too, and they started harassing people for no reason. Hutch had been holding in a lot of anger, and this was the perfect chance to let it out. So he beat those guys up right there on the spot. When he finally got home, Becca saw the condition he was in. Her heart sank. She gently applied ointment to his wounds. And slowly, things between them began to improve. Meanwhile, we're introduced to a mafia boss named Julien, who was partying in a nightclub. Julien used to handle black money for other gangsters, keeping it safe and away from law enforcement. But lately, some of those gangsters had started doubting whether he could still handle the job. And once Julien found out, he grabbed a random guy in the club and slit his throat in front of everyone. That was his way of sending a clear message. He was still deadly, and this is what would happen to anyone who got in his way. Then Julien suddenly got word that his younger brother, Teddy, was in a coma. Someone had beaten him up brutally. And the guy who did this? It was none other than Hutch. Turns out, Teddy was one of the thugs who had attacked the bus earlier, and Hutch had completely wrecked him, breaking his bones. As soon as Julien heard the news, he and his men rushed to the hospital. There, they asked Teddy's friends who was responsible. Just then, one of the thugs handed Julien Hutch's business card, something he'd managed to steal during the fight. The next morning, Hutch was calmly having breakfast with his family when he suddenly got a call from Harry. Harry had just found out that Hutch had beaten up the brother of a powerful Russian mafia boss. Harry told Hutch to meet someone called the Barber, a guy who could give him the inside scoop on this mafia don named Julien. When Hutch finally met the Barber, he learned how dangerous it really was to mess with someone like Julien. But even then, Hutch didn't regret a thing. Meanwhile, Julien had already assigned one of his agents to track down everything about Hutch using the business card. When the truth finally came out, everyone was shocked. Hutch wasn't just an ordinary man. He was a retired professional killer. People believed Hutch could take out anyone, no matter how impossible the target seemed. Throughout his career, he had never failed a single mission. Anyone he was assigned to kill never made it out alive. Even though he had left that dark world behind years ago, underestimating him was a big mistake. Looking at his past, one agent even warned Julien not to provoke him, but Julien didn't listen. Blinded by revenge, he sent his right-hand man Pavel along with a group of men to attack Hutch's house. But Hutch was ready. He knew an attack was coming, so he hid his family safely in the basement. When Julien's men finally showed up, Hutch took them all down with deadly precision. But just when he thought it was over, Pavel shocked him from behind with a powerful electric charge and knocked him out. A little while later, Hutch regained consciousness. He was handcuffed and locked inside the trunk of a car. Thinking quickly, he used a fire extinguisher to smash his way out and filled the car with smoke. The smoke blinded the driver, and the car crashed. In that crash, Pavel and all of his men were killed instantly. Finally, Hutch returned home and brought his family out of the basement. When they saw the mutilated bodies lying all around the house, their hearts were shaken. Hutch then took them to a safe place and promised he'd fix everything soon. After that, he went back home and gathered all his valuables. Among them were several gold bars that he had kept hidden from everyone all this time. Once he had everything, he set the entire house on fire, destroying all the evidence, and walked away. Then we find out that Yulian didn't just attack Hutch's house, he also sent his men to kill Hutch's father, David. But David, who looked old and weak, turned out to be tougher than he seemed. He easily took down all the goons on his own. Meanwhile, Hutch went to buy Eddie's company using the gold bars. But his brother-in-law, Charlie, thought Hutch was mocking him and tried to hit him, though Hutch shut him down in a second. On the other side, when Yulian heard that Hutch had killed Pavel and the others, he was furious. He immediately ordered his men to cut off Hutch's head and bring it to him. But Hutch already knew Yulian wouldn't stay quiet, so he started preparing everything for the war that was about to come. Hutch knew exactly where Yulian kept all his money, so he went straight there and took out the guards on the spot. Then he stepped inside and burned the millions of dollars stored there, completely destroying Yulian's entire operation. Without wasting any time, he walked straight into Yulian's club, sat right in front of him, looked him dead in the eyes, and threatened to blow him up with a bomb. Yulian quickly ordered everyone out of the room and sat down to talk to Hutch alone. Hutch warned him clearly it would be best for him to stay away from his family, or else he'd tear him apart and kill him. Then Hutch showed him the burned money, told him to find a different line of business, picked up the bomb he had brought, and walked out. But the truth was, Yulian could never make peace with the man who had beaten up his brother. So the moment Hutch left, Yulian sent all his men after him. While escaping, Hutch made it to his father-in-law's factory. Just then, David and Harry showed up to help him. With their powerful weapons and the traps Hutch had set up earlier, they wiped out all of Yulian's men in no time. Turns out, David was a retired FBI agent, and Harry had served in the army too. Finally, the three of them killed all of Yulian's men. And now, it was Yulian's turn. But suddenly, Yulian shot Harry in the shoulder. In a burst of rage, Hutch detonated a bomb that blew Yulian to pieces. After that, a man and a woman showed up to investigate. They looked shocked. They couldn't believe that all the bodies they found in the factory had been taken down by one ordinary-looking man. Then, both of them suddenly received a call, and their expressions changed immediately. They looked at Hutch in disbelief, and without filing any charges, they let him go. Before leaving, they asked him, "Who are you?" Hutch simply replied, "I'm nobody." Back when he used to kill people anonymously for his country, there was a time he eliminated a target. But a year later, he saw that same man happily living with his family. Seeing that, Hutch started thinking about his own family. He wanted a normal life too, so he decided to quit the job. But his superiors didn't take that decision well. Later, when Hutch went house hunting with Becca, he suddenly received a call. The voice on the other end told him that the country still needed him. And with that, he headed out on his next mission. He never told his family the truth about what he really did. But to protect them, he was willing to risk everything, even his own life. Yulian was also ready to go to any length for his brother. Both men fought for the people they loved, but in the end, Hutch won. And that's where the story ends. If you had fun watching, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.